Hello, and this is Egar White, your fellow tribulation saint. Let us all be brothers and sisters working together as the pressures and stresses of the last days are definitely affecting more than a few of us. I'd like to speak something this morning about a care or consideration of a fellow saint who seems to have an issue of late as ladies that are vile and evil and leading him astray, and also of men who are doing the same things but seem to be reported as to this more as an afterthought than as the main focus of a recent presentation. In order to bring this to light, I will show you the offending document. Here is a flyer which shows several recent books that I have been giving to people, and the reason why is because the book there of the George Washington face is about land sale thefts and frauds in America. And basically, I had many attempts on my life for being the whistleblower on a gentleman who is stolen in one state 20,000 homes from people just because they were black or Mexican. He's stealing from people that he feels are uneducated minorities and don't have the ability to fight him. 39 properties were taken from my family, and numerous attempts on my life for being the whistleblower on this action. And the picture adjacent to that does show a modeling picture, provocative bathing suit pose. But we had some information on an impending, very near banking fraud second collapse that was scheduled to happen, and eminently eventually still will in one manner or another. But we needed an immediate stop to something which was very extremely eminent, very, very time worthy on the information that was in it, and far too voluminous to put out in Facebook or a tweet or any such nonsense. So we simply wrote down all of the information, all of the facts and evidences of what the intended plan was, and it was a sequel or an adjacent or more in-depth focus of what basically happened during this land fraud theft that happened in the book to the site of it. We realized that the pose is a provocative bikini pose, but we had numerous people scheduled for several weeks and repeatedly about 20 different times. One of the gentlemen that was supposed to assist in the photography that would have been the cover of that book just completely no-showed. And this information had to get out immediately. The title of that book is Banking Fraud Exposed, and the people helping with the author thought that it would be funny to use a bathing suit shot to be a pun on the word exposed, and also because this banking crisis strike, a second failure that was scheduled to happen, would have happened almost immediately, and a ploy which certain individuals under their guise of Christianity are opposed to using that shot may not understand. But if this information needed to get to all of the senators and congresspeople right in time and very quickly and very expediently, and make sure that they would act on this information before it was too late, and all of America and following it all the world would suffer, because the other cover, which was of dollar bills burning, could not be made in time. And so decisions were made with publishers and others to use the bikini exposed shot as a pun, and also to make sure that the individuals who could stop this serious collapse happen would see it in time. So we're definitely apologetic that certain individuals were offended by this, and hope that they understand that you need to get past a bikini picture, which doesn't show anything specifically, and understand that the information that was inside of it was absolutely critical that certain individuals get in time, and that information had already been held up for 2 weeks because of photographers that didn't show up for the real cover shot. So we're sorry for you being offended by the bikini shot, but if you could rip off the cover and read the information inside, I'm sure you'll understand why. The other two shots here are of the Paris Bataclan attacks, a full analysis of that attacks, which I am told by members in the CIA who contacted me that both the CIA and Putin and Francois Hollande extremely loved the information that was in that book. And the last one you see is a book on Revelations and explaining the end days prophecies. Being a student of eschatology for some 6 or 7 years and 10 years of 10 theology classes a week. Every single night I make it a point to try at least to read all of Revelations and one other book of the Bible. You can find any of these books by going on www.createspace.com. The land fraud book, very important, because not only did it happen to 20,000 families in one state, but once their scheme was semi-perfected, they took another 100,000 homes from people who were blacks, Hispanics, and minorities in 15 other states. That's 1,520,000 homes which were taken by this scam, and then the companion to this scam is the banking scam, which would have destroyed for every single family in America. So yes, it was very important and urgent to get out immediately, and we were nothing left with besides a different pun of an exposed photo for that cover. The land fraud book is important because not only has it gone into 15 states now, but as he has perfected that, he will now go into states where the people have more educated, more attorneys, more population concentrations, more networks, larger amounts of people, where the information about what's happening will pass much more quickly, and the people have more resources and more attorneys and more active judicial participants to stop him. So the last 35 states, we'll see what happened in the first 15 if they don't get the information which is in this book. I would highly encourage you to send the ISBN number of this to every single person you can get your hands on, your governor, your state representatives, Congress, senators, local officials, anyone that you can to get this information to. And that is at createspace.com/5887026. The banking companion of what happens next to take your dollars in your bank accounts and fold the economic and dollar system around us after these land schemes, the first part is completed, comes also in createspace.com/6229106. Then after having studied some Al-Qaeda cells and some persons from the various towns and villages where these cells propped up for a period of 16 years, I happened to be watching live the terrorist events that happened at the Paris Bataclan terrorist event. I then proceeded to read and divulge and discuss 1,000 documents per day for the 6 months following the events, compiling that with the 16 years of data that I had compiled and the actual viewing of watching the terror events live happen in Paris, and compiled them into this book. This is the book which originally drew attention that the CIA opened my computer and showed me the spots where they had come into my computer and watched it at different points, where Putin's administration had hacked into the computer and read what was going on in that analysis at different points. And then they showed me the points where all three lines, mine, Putin, and the CIA's, ran right together in parallel, and explained that this was where they were all watching simultaneously literally as my keystrokes were being made on the computer and I was writing this analysis. So a lot of people wanted to get that book immediately and weren't willing to wait until it was finished. They wanted to see all the information as it was being analyzed and typed down. And I made a joke out loud after the CIA asked me to call a certain number, and they divulged this to me and showed this to me on my own